Welcome everyone to the Wild and Wild podcast. We're on a mission to help you women thrive in business, in life, and just help you grow and build. So we're bringing these authentic and real, raw conversations from incredible guests. So today I'm going to pass you over to Louise to introduce our guest.
So today we have the amazing Ella Schweiger, and Ella is on a mission to bring more kindness to the world, which is just such a beautiful, beautiful initiative. What a powerful movement. So thank you so much for being on today. Can we just start with be kinder? Okay, so what inspired you to dedicate yourself to such a powerful movement, to creating these random acts of kindness that are so tangible?
Great question to start with. So, this all started from this summer. I went on a mission to learn how to be a kinder person. And this was inspired. I went traveling with my university friends about maybe 4 to 5 months ago. And something happened when I was traveling. I did not just find myself, but something actually happened that kind of led me down this path. So I was leaving an island called Phi Phi in Thailand. And I was just walking down on the street and I saw this elderly Thai man who was visibly struggling to take his life jacket and his bags. They were all tangled. And I could see him struggling. I just had this urge that I just obviously had to help him. Like, he was really struggling. So I just untangled all the bags and the life jacket, and then he thanked me and we went our separate ways. And coincidentally, around 4 hours later, we were on the same ferry leaving the island. And he came and found me and was like, "You were the girl that helped me." And we just had little chit chat,
Lovely.
"What's your name? Where are you from?" He told me that he does this trip all the time. And then we said goodbye. And then he came and found me when I was waiting for my airport transfer.
Really?
And gave me this piece of paper. And it said on the front, "Because you helped me." And on the back, it had his favourite book recommendation that kind of paved his life. And it was called The Great Controversy. It was a very complex, deep book. But it was one of the most incredible experiences I had ever been graced with. Yeah, I'm 22, and it was just a feeling I'd never felt before in my life. I vividly remember calling my mum and being like, "You just don't understand what's happened."
Wow.
It's such a feeling of, I don't know, being seen and an exchange of kindness between two strangers who owed each other absolutely nothing. So,
And in completely different cultures, completely different, just random act of kindness. And how he actually tracked you down and found you. And it was lovely that.
It was amazing.
And it's amazing how these small moments can have such a ripple effect. Right?
The ripple that he has no idea has happened.
Exactly. So him just reciprocating that kindness for you has then led to you creating a movement now where you are spreading kindness throughout your community and therefore the world, because this ripple effect is so powerful, something we can go into a little bit more. Because it's not just about the two people, the one that is giving and the one who's receiving, it's those who witness it as well. So I know there's a lot of controversy on socials where people maybe film themselves giving things to the homeless, and you get a lot of trolls on there, don't you? Giving insults. Why did you have to film it? Why can't you just go and give it to them? But for me, you are spreading that awareness and that initiative and that just a nudge for other people to be
100%.
kind. And that ripple effect is huge. If you put it on social media, you are reaching out to the rest of the world.
Well, already in our Wild and Wild community, I came across you, through, you came to one of the events, but then I found your socials. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then just by me sharing them, and last week we met up, didn't we? Yeah. And then we just kind of were chatting about events that we could do together and kindness events. And then I was like, why don't we just go do an act of kindness now?
That was amazing from you. You were like, "No time like the present.
Let's do it." And I remember I had the score and I thought, I've got half an hour. Let's do it. And I just thought, why the hell not? Because there's so many excuses why we can't do these things, or we're too busy. And we just got up and out, and we actually we got some candles and some yummy cookies, and we just went out onto the street, didn't we? Where we were. Found some strangers, an old couple and people in the pharmacy. And it brought so much joy to their day. And I just think if I hadn't seen her post on social media and all the things she's doing, I probably might not have done that day, or, you know, and it had a domino effect. So people messaged me after, I'm going to do something today. I've just done this. And
there you go. The ripple effect, it's huge. And that couple that you found and the people that you gifted those wonderful presents to, random acts of kindness, they could have gone home. They could have had a really bad day. They could be going through something really horrendous. They'll go home and they'll pass that on maybe to their loved ones or to another stranger, and it just continues.
I was going to say that is such an important kind of topic that you've just raised about social media, because that was one of my things that I wasn't sure how I wanted to go about, but I knew there was such a power in me sharing my journey, my feelings and emotions going through this journey of trying to be a kinder person. And that's why I've chosen to share it, because it's raising such an important message to show the ease of everyone integrating an act of kindness wherever they may be, wherever they're going. But
it doesn't need to be complicated.
It doesn't need to be complicated at all. But also, I've chosen to do it in a very non-invasive way where I genuinely just have a video of their feet. It's all completely anonymous. It's kind of capturing a lovely bit of human connection, but in a way that kind of feels
safe,
right to me and hopefully to them too. But yeah, it kind of like got to, I think I realised that I had to share this because I basically, once going on this journey this summer, I was feeling so positively in my own mental health from starting these acts of kindness. And I was just genuinely intrigued. Why am I feeling so good after doing these acts of kindness? So I actually did some research, and there was this one study that Oxford University did that really stuck in my mind. And it was this Oliver Curry. He had these researchers who got 600 participants, and they challenged them to do one act of kindness every single day for 1 week. And they measured it from filling out a form before and after the week for how you feel numerically, just like saying the happiness levels that you felt. And there were 3 amazing findings. The first one was they were all from different cultural age demographics, and every single result that they found was the same. So it was a universal thing. Yeah. It doesn't matter the age, it doesn't matter where you're from, the social circles, you will all feel the same effect. The second amazing point was the more acts of kindness that people did in the day. So some people would just do 1 a day, and there would be others who would do like 10 a day. The happier you felt, happier the more you did.
Oh, interesting.
Basically, kind of, I can really relate that it's becoming contagious in my life. So that was another amazing thing. The more time you invest into doing acts of kindness, the more you'll get out of it from mental and physical.
It is scientifically proven that acts of kindness and kindness in itself can help. It has so many positive health benefits. I have a huge list written down here.
Yes.
Not limited to, it reduces stress and anxiety, lowers blood pressure and cortisol. Practicing kindness towards others has also been linked to reduce social anxiety and improve self-esteem. It strengthens social connection, buffers against depression, social isolation, supports your heart health, so it actually prevents cardiovascular system.
And that's one of the biggest killers.
Huge, because of oxytocin. And what does oxytocin do?
Oxytocin is the key to life. So honestly, so I'm actually, you might not know this about me, but I'm a birth worker as well. So I'm a doula, hypnobirthing coach. I don't do it.
You do a lot.
Yeah, I do a lot. I flip a few things. But we always talk about oxytocin. So when we're training women to go into birth, it's like all about this love hormone. And it's basically our whole evolution is around this, like love hormone connection, and giving even just a simple acts of like touch or can bring us better health. So if we're constantly being fueled with this oxytocin and feeling supported and feeling connected, then it's fueling, like, not only does it fuel like birth, but it fuels like being a better mother or a better caregiver or everything. So if you're then doing more acts of kindness, you're building this hormone in your body more and more, which stimulates the pituitary and all the gland, all the brain, and it's just amazing. It's for brain
genuinely
health.
If you want someone to vouch for all of these things, I've done it, and I can feel
you're already feeling it. Well, do you know what? Just this 5 minutes sat here, my My energy level has risen
Yeah.
much. My cheeks are hurting from smiling so much.
Well, tell us then. Tell us about these. So where did it start? What was your first one?
Oh my gosh.
I'm interested.
My first one. So I do really
I
want
suppose
to...
it was that, wasn't it? Was
No.
That was
kind
like
of...
your first little
My
step.
first act of kindness where I went out of my way to try and do something kind.
Yeah.
I want to be completely honest and vulnerable with... I think I was always a kind person, but I never really spent any time going out of my way to do anything, an act of kindness as such. And I remember my first one, it didn't come as naturally as I thought it would have, because so my first act of kindness I did was actually in Wales. I bought a pack of Haribos and put a post-it note on it saying, "Have a nice day." That was it. It was simple, and that was all I did. When I say to you, the social anxiety I experienced, it took me 3 hours
Oh, bless you.
to give those Haribos away. And that was a massive realization to me. Why am I feeling so scared to do something nice to someone? So
where were you, in like the street or something?
I
or were you like...
I was on the beach in Wales.
Yeah.
And it ended up being about 3 hours later. I said to myself, I am not going home until I've given these Haribos out to someone. And there was this lady walking her dog on the beach, and my palms were sweaty. My heart was literally beating out of my brain. And I gave it her, and she was like, "Thank you so much. You don't understand how much I appreciated that." And I also was going to say, I think later down the line, I wanted to kind of understand why I was so nervous.
Yeah, interesting.
And I actually have ADHD. And
oh, you're in a good company. I've been diagnosed as well.
Have you?
Louise thinks she has it as well. So
yes.
I think a lot of us women do, though, because we try and multitask and do a lot of things, and we
gosh.
overthink a lot. So
and
it's important. Community and connections even more important for us.
It's a superpower.
it is 100% my superpower. I could not be moving the way I move without it.
And the creativity.
The creativity is crazy.
Amazing.
But I think the link with ADHD is I have always had the social rejection sensitivity.
Yes.
And the
Rejection
overthinking.
sensitivity.
Yeah, of course.
The overthinking, I have...
What people think of you. Yeah, all
exactly.
that.
I have a history of being a massive people pleaser, and
Of course.
I just think that kind of manifested its way into my acts of kindness from when I approach a stranger. I don't know how they're going to react, and every time it gives me that kind of anxiety before.
Yeah.
But I will say, the more acts of kindness I've done, the growth in my confidence has been incredible, just by pushing myself into that, out of my comfort zone. And
interesting. Well, I'm glad you just said that, because actually when I was 18, if you had known me back then, you wouldn't have believed it. I used to shake when I speak to boys. I'd be like so scared of... I would analyse everything that everyone was thinking about me, like, oh my God, they think I'm...
You radiate confidence.
Honestly, back then, I'd be like shaky. I'd like go through, like, you know, if we've been out with some friends, I'd go through every situation.
That internal dialogue.
That internal dialogue was so harsh and so critical. And the reason I brought it up was because when I was 18, I haven't actually shared this with our community before, really. But my mum was a really successful businesswoman. She got asked to go on Secret Millionaire. Do we all remember that Channel 4 show?
Wow.
And she was one of the first, actually, they asked back on it to do 2 episodes.
No way.
So she ended up giving $250,000 away to charity on the episode.
Wow.
But she actually invited me to go on it when I was 18. And I was like, no, like, I am not going on television. But she was like, look, I really want, one of you. My sister was like, definite no. But I was like, okay. But I did all these acts of kindness and supporting homeless kitchens, and weirdly though, through that experience, it brought me out of myself, like, stop overthinking what I'm doing. And I got my bubble popped. I was living in this privileged, lovely, beautiful house, like nice school environment. Yeah, things happen, we all have hard times, but I lived a good life. And I realised not everyone has this beautiful life. And I was then thrown into the streets of Bristol on sex worker vans, giving out condoms, supporting these women. And it opened my eyes completely. And I think, not to say everyone needs to go and do that straight away, but to build to that, because the reason I said it was because my confidence and this dialogue started to dull down and go, it doesn't matter what why, like if we're being a bit silly or if we look a bit fat or if we, these silly things we tell ourselves or whatever. I just suddenly realized actually it's just about giving. Like life should be more purposeful.
I have such an important point about that, that I think this is the biggest link with why it improves your mental health so much, is because your focus is shifted from yourself to how you're making someone else feel. And that in itself takes that internal dialogue focused on not the self-criticism, not over-analysing everything that you're doing, but appreciating how you've made someone else feel. And I think that's been the most empowering thing that I've found is I and every other human have the power to make someone else smile.
Yeah,
and
that's
in a
lovely.
small
so
or large
beautiful.
way, we all have that ability. And everyone should be kinder. We should all,
Yeah,
it should be something that we
absolutely.
practice in our daily lives, not a random acts of kindness.
Such a beautiful
I always say it like,
message.
be more Dawn, because my mum used to be the kindest
Be
person.
more
Like,
Dawn,
come on,
my
be
motto.
more, be more kind, be more, like
Yeah.
she used to say, be brave, be kind, be bold, dare to be different,
Dare to be
just do
different.
it. And like, it's so true. In our daily lives, like yesterday, actually, I think you've had an impact on me, even this week. So I said to Ella, she asked me straight away on camera, like, oh, how did you feel? And I was like, oh, wow, it was amazing. It felt so good. But only later, after we did the act of kindness, did it really sink in. I was like, I was on the school run and I just thought, I feel really calm. My nervous system, I feel just really happy, full of joy. And like, I'm already thinking what else I could do.
Yeah, you sent me on a
Yeah.
voice note. You did.
And I was like, oh, but then weirdly, yesterday I was having my hair done and I popped to get a coffee for the hairdresser. And I walked in this cafe and I was just ordering. I was a bit late actually. So I was running late, as I always am. Louise will know. And then I saw this elderly woman who was sat on her own. She was struggling to get up. So I went over and I was like, oh, do you want me to help you? And she was like, oh, yes. Would you like to sit down a minute? And I was thinking, oh, no, I've got to go. But I was like, yes, of course, I'll sit down with you. And she goes, oh, I'm 89. I was like, oh my gosh. I said, what is the secret then? And she goes, oh, work hard and enjoy life. Anyway, the reason I said this, it was her birthday. And she was out on her own. And if I hadn't sat down then and just rushed off.
Yeah.
And, we had a coffee together and we just sat for a moment. And I just thought, and I was just like, oh, I want to buy some cake or, just settle it. And it just felt so good. But maybe I hadn't have done that if I'd not done that act of kindness before. And I just think it really made me look at life and go, we have the opportunity to do it at any point in our day. Like buy the person behind you a coffee.
There's no excuse.
Yeah, exactly.
That actually isn't an excuse. And that's such a gorgeous story that you had. Like, you didn't go out of your way. You were observant. And I think in my generation and what I've always felt is I'm walking around with my AirPods stuck in my ears.
yes.
I'm on the phone. I'm doom scrolling, constantly over consuming. And when you just take away those factors and can be a bit more observant to your surroundings, and the opportunities to be kind are endless.
Exactly.
You can actually notice that person who's struggling, like I did. Or I had one where I was in the car park and these ladies were struggling to find some coins to pay, and I had them in my hand. And I was observant, I was aware, and I went, have mine. And it meant so much to them. And you just got to...
Because actually them having to go to a shop, find the change, all that stuff, it can cause a lot of chaos for people and things. Like just little acts that you can do, just brighten people's day.
100%. I also really wanted to talk about the ripple effect.
Yes.
The
go back to the
ripple
ripple
effect.
effect.
I think it was always something that I'd heard of but never witnessed. And I have witnessed it incredibly.
So how is it shown up then?
Okay, so it's started from the simplest times of I bought a coffee for the person behind me at this amazing coffee shop called Capello's, and every single person paid it forward and paid for the person behind
me about this. So it
And
carried
I
on all
was
day.
visibly watching the ripple effect take place in front of my eyes because of me.
Yes.
I had catalysed that.
Well
So
done.
that was incredible. But then another incredible thing happened. My dad was inspired by my acts of kindness, and he sent me a video one day. It was like, Ella, I've just done an act of kindness because of you. You never
so
guess what.
cute.
And no, it was amazing. So he did an act of kindness to this family, and he got speaking to the little girl who was 11 called Elsa, and she had won a kindness award the week before at school, coincidentally, because she saw people being left out in the playground and wanted to create a kindness club to make everyone involved.
Oh my gosh, stop it. That's so cute.
It was
Everyone needs a kindness
incredible.
award. These schools all need this. That's great.
Trust me, I completely agree with you. I
love
would
it.
love to try and
Yes.
work on something like that.
That'd be cool.
But my dad was like, well, you have to meet my daughter Ella. She's on a mission to be kinder. So actually on Friday, I travelled down to Crewe and met Elsa, and she had kindness running through her veins. I gave her a Tony's chocolate bar for a little act of kindness to her. She immediately broke up the pieces in the chocolate bar and gave it out to everyone. We then went and did acts of kindness together. The kindness was radiating from her. She was 11.
I feel like
It was
we're built though.
incredible.
If we unpack that down, we are more built to be kind as children though, and then we get blocked with these layers from society that I imagine them like in yoga. I talk about like we're an onion, and we build these layers after the teenage years of what people think about us, and we've just got to go into our own self. But innately we are wanting to help each other. We like the last podcast actually we did was about talking about community and like how women coming together and actually back in the old days it used to be more like that. Like you'd help your, say if someone had a baby, we'd all help them in group round, but we've lost that a bit in society.
That's been talked about a lot. Like you don't talk to the person sat next to you at a bus stop in a queue now because everybody's just on the phone. We have lost that ability to just have conversations with strangers, or to just, like you said, if you had been doom scrolling on your phone while you're walking down the street, you never would have seen that man needed help. You never would have seen that lady in the cafe that needed somebody to sit with her. We aren't being observant enough because we are trapped in this egocentric life, this little bubble
busy,
of our own.
it's very transactional, and it's very disconnected.
It's a hustle world a bit. Like we have to break that, and I always don't like that hustle mentality. It's like building together and looking up from your phones, trying to be connecting on. We always have the moments.
Present.
Being
present in what's going on right now.
I think that's one of the most amazing things, that just stopping, being more mindful of what people are going through and how big of a deal. I remember receiving a compliment, and it was on my smile, and that literally, I told my family about that. I told my boyfriend. I found out that one compliment can lift someone's mood for 24 hours.
Wow,
that's amazing.
It really does, though.
Everyone needs a
Absolutely.
little lift.
And we should give them more, because then you're more likely to get them back at you and take them as well. I always say at my women's events,
It is hard
someone
to
gives you a
receive.
compliment, like you look beautiful today.
Say thank you.
Yeah.
No, I've not washed my hair the week, or
We're a
this was just
nightmare.
from a charity shop, or
Literally.
we always back it
We
off
see it at
with
our
something
events, don't we? We try
all
and
the
give them
time.
out, and they're
I
like,
still do it. Somebody says, "Oh, you look great today." I'm like, "Oh no, it's I'll back it off with
There's
something."
always an excuse. There's a but.
So how can we create a more ever-present world? Because this is the thing, I do find, you look in a coffee shop, say for instance, everyone's just engorged on the phone.
Yeah.
How do we get people looking up, being more present? I think it's maybe because they are on the phones, maybe these acts of kindness on social media are good, because it's showing people what to do, and maybe they will bloody look up.
Yeah, maybe then they'll see it. They'll see the video, the inspirations, put the phone down and go buy somebody a coffee.
Well, let's hope. We can hope. But I do actually have, I think, some tips from my own experience of how to be kinder. I kind of see it as a bit of a tier. So the first tier is the most natural. You're not going out of your way. Everyone has zero excuse that they could be doing more of this. And I'm sure a lot of people out there do this naturally. But we can always try and do it more. And I'd say that tier is smiling when you see someone walking on the street, holding the door open, giving the compliment instead of just thinking it in your head. And that is kind of my tier one of we can all do that.
Everybody can do
Everyone
that.
can practice that as a everyday
Can I
kind
add
of
another
thing.
one in there? Letting somebody out at a roundabout without flipping them the bird, or if somebody pulls out in front of you, not getting angry. That's showing a little bit of kindness to yourself. And then also always presuming the best. So if they have somebody on the
100%.
road has done something, or they've knocked past you, or they've ignored you as you've walked past, and don't think, oh, they're rude or they're grumpy. You
never
have
know
no
what they're going
idea.
through. Yeah,
No
Exactly.
idea.
I think this is interesting with the car and the driving and things, because there are so many angry drivers out there. But you don't have an idea that person could be rushing, panicking about the kid or anything.
Yeah.
And I just think it shows on you if you're being like aggressive or angry in that situation.
100%.
You've got to be kinder and accept that people are going through a lot of shit and that they're struggling in life. And if they cut you off, it might just be a mistake. And we do have to start being like, I think it was a reflection. And I feel like my yoga journey really taught me that, like, just gotta, I actually have it tattooed on me, a hymns there, which is non-violence. Just that is my like mantra in life. It's just like spread kindness, love.
You've got that on your wrist, and I've got be the change you wish to see in the world.
Well,
not a Gandhi.
I think I need to get one.
You're the next. But yeah, what's the next tier then?
So the next tier is going along your everyday kind of life, but being a bit more thoughtful. And I kind of touched on that, but being more observant to be aware of the opportunities where you can be kinder. So that, for example, that can be like the car parking ticket example that I used, or I don't know, just that kind of everyday, you can see an opportunity to be a kinder person, take it instead of just seeing it and thinking it in hindsight.
Yeah.
And then the tier 3 is the one which I'd say I've been practicing the most, is where I'm going completely out of my way to do something kind
Like
to someone.
volunteering is this?
It can be in any kind, shape or form to someone you know. It can be to a stranger. It can even be to yourself. And that can...
And how do we do it to ourselves? Because that's something people might not get. Like,
Yes.
It's interesting. We have a lot of like, oh, we don't deserve that. We're, we give so much to others, but how can we be more kinder? Like, would you give yourself, I don't know, a massage, or like, well, how would you say be kinder to yourself, or just?
I'd say it's more of a, for me, I think it's personal to everyone.
Yeah.
But for my kind of self-kindness that I'm trying to really push and practice is I live a very busy, fast-paced life where I'm constantly trying to do everything for everyone, but do everything for myself, and it can get a lot. I can get very overwhelmed, and I can get near to burnout.
Yeah, same.
And I think it's where I'm trying to learn to give myself some grace, to slow down. And I have my ADHD therapist actually helped me with this. You actually know her, Hannah.
Oh my God, I was just about to, I was thinking of
Hannah
it.
Cullen.
Yeah,
yes.
she's the lady that diagnosed me as well. Shout out to Dr. Hannah Cullen.
We love Dr. Hannah Cullen. She taught me you put in your calendar all of your meetings, all of your dinner nights out with your friends. You need to start blocking out some time in your calendar where you are on your own, you are not speaking to anyone else, and you are doing what you need to do to just rewind and recharge.
Really important.
And that's a massive self-kindness thing that a lot of people probably do it anyway, but for me that was a weakness.
Yeah, she taught me to do the calendar, like actually put it in the calendar, because I always forget things if I don't put it in my calendar. But then it's so important
You
to like
have
pop
to.
it in, just a walk or whatever it is.
Whatever it is, that's another thing. Just walking, getting out in nature, and that's a way that I'm rewinding within that kind of time block. So I'd say there's also other ways of self-kindness, like just like training yourself to speak in a kinder manner to yourself, like in a dialogue.
Affirmations just came to mind when you said that, because I thought, just if you could say to yourself every morning, I am love, I'm kind, 100%. I am happiness, or just bringing that, if you are inclined for self-negative talk. People think they're a bit woo-woo or out there, but it's been scientifically shown, like if you look at all Tony Robbins and, these people, the top 1%, the most successful billionaires in the world, all do these things.
Oh, I can
like,
imagine.
what's that book?
The Secret.
The one, well, Secret, yeah, but the 7 acts to be, it'll come to me, I'll put it in the show notes, but it's like the 7 top things that these 1% do. It's like things like meditation, visualization, probably kindness is in there actually.
Positive self-talk. It's all about the law of
positive
attraction,
affirmations,
isn't it?
yeah.
And what you're attracting towards you with that kind of energy that you create from this positive internal dialogue and self-talk, you are then radiating that outwards, and then you're more likely to cause that ripple effect by taking action. It's not just about thinking kind things. You're then more likely to take action. And
I think with that as well, the massive part that I've learned is I'm actually building a habit. So, and I'm kind of like habit stacking as I go. When I go out to get a coffee, I'll try and buy someone behind, or just things that you do in your everyday life. They can be little prompts to do the acts of kindness, and then it becomes a everyday thing that you're just carrying through. So, but I will say I'll bring back to the tier 3, where you do go out of your way to do something kind to someone. I have really, I think 2 experiences that I've done recently have been profound. One was when I went volunteering at this homeless charity called Life Share, where they have this incredible project that they make breakfast for the homeless for the people on the streets of Manchester. And in the morning on the Friday, I got up at 5 a.m. and went and volunteered from 7 till 9. It was one of the most, like, popping out of your bubble, putting everything into perspective in your own life, but also seeing the way that the homeless were so appreciative for all of these volunteers going out of their way. There were people there doing it before their 9 to 5. They just went a bit earlier into town and were giving their time. Time is one of the most powerful acts of kindness that I think you can give, whether it's speaking to someone about their problems or like volunteering. But then another one I also did, which went out of my way, but when you look back at it, it took me 20 minutes out of my life. I went to a nursing home near me, and I actually took my brother with me. I bribed him with some Tony's chocolate bars. I was nervous. Please, can you come with me? And we went to this nursing home. I didn't phone up ahead, nothing prepared. I just went, can I come and give some chocolate bars and have a chat with the people in the nursing home? And they were so appreciative. One of them took my hand and just kissed it and was like, please come back.
Oh, yeah.
And it took me 20 minutes.
So lonely as well. Like, I have to say, loneliness is an epidemic in our society. And I can't, every time I used to go visit my nan, like, she was only in for a short time, but everyone would just, I would take in my baby and they'd kind of run out, they come over to you and, not run, but somebody come over, but they'd be so desperate to see someone. And I think that's such a powerful thing you've said there. If everyone could just dedicate one day a month to go in 100%. For just a half hour to speak to some, or even take your kids in to speak to the elderly, like, they are so lonely and they can't get out and do the things that we're doing. 100%. And like that lady I saw the other day on a birthday alone, just having a coffee, and I was just like, that make their day. Or just speak to someone in a coffee shop if you see elderly people alone. Like, we used to have so many when I owned Wild and Wild coffee shop, and just sit on their own, and just they wouldn't have much to do, and it 100%. Just makes their life so much have more meaning.
I agree. Yeah. I actually saw on social media there's this movement, I think it was called Drop Dead Generous. I don't know if you've heard or seen of it. I hadn't until this weekend. And they're doing a social experiment where they're giving 1,000 people £500 to think of the most creative acts of kindness.
I love that.
I will be applying, that is for sure. But it's funny because one of them, he got a Shetland pony and brought it into an old people's home.
That is brilliant.
And they were like, they've never had this experience before. And this is the power of sharing it on social media, because by him and Drop Dead Generous sharing that on social media, that sparked ideas for me. I was like, okay, how can I find a Shetland pony near me and bring it into the old people's home?
Yeah, exactly. I might have one for you.
I'm sure there'll be somebody who will volunteer their pony.
Sheep, but also
we'll do it.
But what also made me think about that is bringing, what was it now? There was a lady in our community that takes her baby classes and does them in old people's homes. So the mums meet there, because elderly people get a lot get a lot of benefit from seeing the really young children. So they were doing like kids classes but in the old people home, and I thought that was cute. I like that.
Beautiful.
Cute.
That's a really lovely idea. I feel like we need to branch into the residential homes now and do some kind of
should.
networking and
100%,
get their wisdom. What is the greatest tip that you could give to women in our community?
That's one of the things I want to do with, I don't know if you've seen it on social media, but they have a whiteboard and they go around and have you seen
that? What's your greatest tip that you would give, like in relationships or in business or whatever?
We should do it around here.
It would be beautiful.
I asked that lady, I was like straight away, like, give me the top tips for staying alive till 89. And I just started asking her, and I was like, but it made me think of this lady Mary who used to come in our cafe. Do you remember her? And I've tried to mess her on Facebook. She's not getting back to me. I want to know, where's Mary? And she basically used to come in and she used to just tell me stories about the old days where there was bombs in Congleton. Like, the girls got shipped off to go to London to like be in shelters. And I was like, my God, we don't even think about this stuff. Like, this is stuff, like, she's lived through a war. Like, this is, it's mad. Like, and it gives you a reflection on your life that, like, we are so lucky to have a roof over our head.
I don't think, this generation, or the generations that we're in now, we don't realise how lucky we are. We really do need to look back and forward and realise.
There's war now, isn't there, as well?
Yeah,
exactly.
which is very scary. Yeah. So we need to really live in the present moment and just be kinder to more people.
I think so.
When you think about these people that are doing bad things, might first thought every single time is, what kind of childhood did they have?
Yeah.
What was it
yeah.
that happened to that person that made them do
Yeah.
something bad? If somebody had been kind to them and shown them more compassion and taught them the true meaning of love and life,
They weren't
would they have been that
born
kind of
like
person?
that. They were
Nobody
born-
is born evil.
That is so interesting because one of my next goals is to do some talks in schools. And I actually have 2 lined
you
up
should.
already because it all starts in schools and
It
kind of when
does.
you're young
Precisely.
and what you absorb, and to just make it a bit more normalised, I guess.
Yeah.
Instead of the random act of kindness, it's a habit of an act of kindness.
Intentional
Acts of kindness. So, and this is actually a really amazing story. I had a little viral video on TikTok, and this woman made a video doing an act of kindness because of me.
Oh, amazing.
And she was in Australia.
You literally
that's
made it to the
ace.
other side of the
Yes.
globe.
But by pure coincidence, she was visiting a place called Silsden in Leeds, and that's half an hour away from my boyfriend.
right.
So we actually met up about 2 weeks ago.
Oh my
This
gosh, that's
random
cool.
woman from Australia who did an act of kindness because what she saw of me doing it on TikTok. And she was a teacher, and she has a kindness movement in Australia. And she was telling me about all the amazing workshops she does with children, and just bonding over a shared interest to spread kindness in the world, which she was 10 years older than me. And we had the most lovely time. We went and did acts of kindness together, and I don't know, I think it's really important to bring it back to schools as well.
Absolutely.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, that's where it all starts. You're
does.
so right.
I bet they've got some incredibly creative ideas for me to do for my next
will.
acts of kindness as well.
Oh, you should. So my mum, actually, she was a massive mover in like the world of kindness and things, but she actually asked the local schools in Congleton, because we wanted Congleton to get more on the map, so to help build the community, how to bring more people. She said to the schools, Congleton's got a story about the bears. Have you ever heard about this? Called Bear Town. But it used to be a negative story. So they used to bait the bear to buy the Bible back in the old days. So it was like bear baiting. It wasn't good. So she went to the schools and said, I want you all to write a story about where the bear's gone. And so they all wrote the story, and she made it happen where the kids wrote the story that they wanted to bring back the bear, and it pop up all around Congleton, and that we could go visit it, and there's a bear trail. So my mum made this happen. I'm thinking you could do something like this. And then there was, 400, I think, or was it maybe over 100 or something, bears over Congleton. It brought like about 100,000 more people into the town on a monthly basis because they all came to do the bear trail.
Incredible.
And it all stemmed from the school. So the kids
is incredible.
wrote this story. And now to this day, when you drive around Congleton, you'll see these bears. And it was all just from one idea in a school. And you don't realise what impact and creativity these kids have.
Honestly.
So that might be a good idea.
Well, I've got an idea that I would love to ask at the end of my talks at schools, to get in pairs and think of my next act of kindness, and then we all kind of vote for the best one, and then I will go and do that act of kindness.
Brilliant.
So they can see it come to life.
Oh, I love
and
that.
I would love to try and do that.
It'd be something really fun, like dress up as a
Yeah.
dinosaur and go and
I'm a
hand
bit
out
nervous.
chocolates
It could be anything.
to everybody.
But the power's in their hands.
You've got to do it.
Oh, I love
I
it.
will.
I love that.
That's ace.
Oh, so speaking about kindness, April and I both work in wellness industry. So in Buddhist and yogic traditions,
Yes.
there is this meta kindness that we were talking
Yeah,
about
loving
just
kindness,
beforehand.
isn't
So
it?
it's like loving kindness, this cultivating compassion towards yourself, to others, to strangers, and to those who aren't necessarily so kind. So people that are quite difficult as well.
Yeah.
So again, that brings us back to what we were talking about earlier. So if somebody cuts you off when they're driving, or somebody barges into you, really practicing that.
Loving kindness.
Yeah,
isn't
that
it?
loving
Yeah.
kind, just sending them love. Like if you have a difficult relationship with somebody at work, or a friend, or somebody, or a family member that you just don't get on with, and you know that we're never going to be in each other's life, my practice is always to just send them love. In my mind, I will send them a prayer, just wish them the best.
Yeah.
And that makes me feel better, which again might sound a little bit selfish, but it does make you feel
does.
selfish.
It does.
Just like we were
That's
talking
an
about
interesting
earlier, is there any such thing as a selfless act of kindness?
I think this is such an important topic to touch on. And I personally had these dilemmas, these thoughts going through my brain, even with the fact I was posting them on social media. And I don't know, it was an interesting one that I had to kind of tackle. And I actually had, funny story, I had like a troll on TikTok where they would comment, you were doing this for self-gratification. And it made me reflect. And I actually was thinking, I feel so amazing after doing these acts of kindness. And my goal is to make the receiver of the acts of kindness feel even better in their day. But is that not a win-win if both sides of the party are feeling more positive after doing this act of kindness?
Precisely.
I agree, there is the whole argument or debate where is it selfish? Anything that humans do, there's always some selfish kind of intention.
Is the question really, is it selfless or does it matter if it's selfless?
Doesn't really
it doesn't
matter,
need
does
to be.
it?
As long as you're doing something kind and positive to create that ripple effect, does it matter the feeling that it gives you?
I think it's a win-win on
opinion,
both
no.
sides, to be honest. And people can have their own views on that, but I know where I stand.
Yeah, and they've got to get like come around to it, because I think all the big brands now, all the big companies, they are knowing that community matters, giving back matters.
Yes.
And they're actively using that in their ad campaigns to like, but it's not like you're doing that. It's not like you're product placing or going, like perfectly scripted things. And it's, when you see them videos like on TikTok where they'll like go and give an old lady like £100 to buy
You're
a
not
shopping.
taking advantage of a movement for your own
Yeah.
gain.
Yeah.
As long as it comes from a place of heart and
Yeah,
true
definitely.
want to give back, I think that's all that matters.
But I like how you
agree.
don't. It's not like filmed too much. Like I liked when I went with you. I thought, we'd film them, but actually, you're looking at the floor. It just see their
Confidential.
feet. It's confidential.
Yeah,
They're not.
I don't want
feeling-
it to be invasive or to question the
so
the
it's-
genuineness of this act of kindness.
fine.
That's it.
I think so, and I think that's why I want to share so much my personal journey of how I'm feeling from doing all these acts of kindness.
Because even if it
It's more
influences
important.
one person, that is one more beautiful
But-
person in the world, and that who can
Yeah.
have a ripple effect and influence another person
Yeah,
and another
exactly.
person. And they're just the people
Yeah.
that start being kind, but then the people that those lives that they touch,
100%.
it's huge. You are making one person can change the world.
Yeah, they can. The ripple effect
is
is
huge.
It's
powerful.
crazy. I was gonna say my DMs are inundated with people firstly asking me, how can I get involved? I want to do an act of kindness with you. Secondly, I've done an act of kindness because of you. And thirdly, someone said your account and your acts of kindness are the only reason I still scroll on Instagram.
that's
And I've
amazing.
lost 20 minutes to just scrolling through, but I feel happier
They're
from
quite
watching them.
addictive.
There you go,
I was watching
beautiful.
one. I was like, oh, look at the next one. And it's interesting because we did one. Obviously, we filmed it the other day, and the view count was way more than my other posts. So it's obviously like even
That's
our community
interesting.
was like, boom, right, we're
Because
on
people
that.
want to see genuine connection.
do.
They don't just want to see fluff. They don't just want
Yeah.
to see somebody videoing something just silly for the sake of getting views. They
Yeah.
can see genuine connection.
But
They can
that's
see
like the
where it's coming
point
from.
where you actually touched on that the observer of an act of kindness can actually feel the same effects as the giver and receiver of an act of kindness, which is absolutely empowering
that
and
oxytocin is being spread throughout the world.
Yeah.
through
We're
everyone.
spreading love.
It's amazing,
Spreading
that.
love.
And it's interesting because we were talking a bit about before we came on today, like because we're like yoga teachers, Pilates teachers, and things. And actually, I feel like this was instilled in me from when I did my yoga teacher training, and I think it changed my life because I started to look at like how we, like yoga, it has 8 limbs, and one of them is the yamas, which is like our daily ethical disciplines that we do, and one of them is like you've got like the satya, the truthfulness, ahimsa, the non-violence, and then that ultimately comes under acts of kindness, like being more giving. There's so many anyway, but it got me thinking like we feel good and we feel more aligned on our spiritual paths and our purpose when we're in alignment with this kindness and acts of kindness. And I actually think when I did my yoga teacher training, that got instilled in me. And I think I've generally been it once I learned about kindness and how to be more kind. But it had a domino. I wonder if it's got a domino effect in your life, because so what I did is it started to affect me on what I eat, on how I behave, products I use. So I go more B Corp now. I look at the ethics on water usage. Like I even went vegan for 15 years. I've started having a few eggs occasionally, but it actually made me go really to look at all the things we consume as well. I don't know. Have you found that?
I think that is something that kind of naturally happens on this journey, but it can also be quite quick to get overwhelming
Yeah.
because there's only
Very.
so
Yes.
much you can spread yourself to stay in line.
Nobody can be perfect and do
No.
absolutely everything. We all drive cars, we all go on
Well,
holidays,
exactly,
you know, we all do. But it's just about being more conscious and aware. And if you are living a life of kindness and your religion, your way of life is kindness, then you are just becoming a more intentional and conscious person anyway. So you start making more conscious choices in your everyday, which can have a positive effect on the environment, on each other, on the planet, on the animals, everything.
Yeah, I completely agree. I was going to say, I think that kind of brings me on to my kind of goal for all of this.
Oh yes, tell us about your visions, because that's what I want to hear. Yeah.
So I have created a movement labeled the letter B kinder. So be kinder. It's kind of like a verb, like let's be kinder. And that movement is a business where I want to not only inspire kindness and daily acts of kindness, but I would love to be able to give people a way to be kinder. And right now, the ways that I would love people to kind of get involved and how I can help people be kinder is, firstly, I would love to hear any kind of stories that people have experienced, whether you've done the act of kindness, received it, or heard.
And tell us how people can get in touch. So what's your Instagram handle on that?
So my Instagram is Ella Schweiger, SCHWEIGER.
Here we go.
People struggle.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah. Just reach out on Instagram. I have this Google form in my bio. So that is my first one.
Okay.
Just please share any stories you've heard of, encountered. My next one is I'm actually starting something at the moment where I think an act of kindness in itself is directing kindness to a place or person. So I would love people to nominate people or places that they think deserve an act of kindness.
We saw this, didn't we, on your website? That's great. Yeah.
That's something that I'm trying to get up and running at the moment. And I actually did my first one about 10 days ago. And this son had nominated his mum for just going above and beyond and just he thinks deserves an act of kindness, never prioritises herself.
That's lovely.
So he just put, do whatever you think. And I went and dropped round flowers. He gave me the address. I dropped flowers at the house, didn't knock on. I just left it with a note. And in the note, it was basically, thank you for being such an amazingly going above and beyond for your family. You've been nominated by someone for this act of kindness. Lovely. And the email I received was powerful. They were like, the son was so grateful that I could actually make that happen and the positive effect it had on his mum. But also the mum was so emotional and was like,
that's beautiful.
That really made me feel appreciated for the way I live my life.
And I can see that going viral, and I can see that you could get brands to sponsor you on that. So I could see like big brands being like, oh, I want to sponsor an act of kindness to nominate, and that could go really big in different areas.
Who wouldn't want to get involved with
Yeah,
this?
exactly.
That does lead me on to my next way of being kinder. If anyone has any product, service, platform, anything that they would like to kind of include, get creative and be a part of an act of kindness, my inbox is open and I am so open to anything we can create. Collaborations. I will say the doors that have opened since doing this have been so exciting, but also so encouraging that everyone wants to be involved in spreading some kindness.
Well, all businesses could, like, even if someone was like a videographer or, you know, like they could go and do something for someone that might need a little bit of an encouragement or anything. It could be products, it could be services, anything like that.
Exactly. And yeah, so if anyone does have any ideas, I've got my email, ellasactsofkindness@gmail.com. Just my inbox is open.
And soon, and maybe when this is aired, it will be out.
Yes.
But we've got our kindness event starting, hopefully in the Altrincham Hale area.
Around there.
That area. So that'll be launching soon, which will be doing acts of kindness together as a women's community.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll bring men in later on. Maybe we'll do bigger events. But to start with, it's going to be the women. And we're going to be making actual little maybe backpacks or like things for...
We'll do an act of kindness at the event.
Yeah.
And kind of, I can speak about my journey. We can speak about self-kindness, the power of acts of kindness. And I think that would be an amazing way to get a bit of a community of people who want to
help.
be kinder.
I think these
Be the
buggy bags, we were
change.
thinking of these like packing kids for like foster care and adopted kids and different
Yeah.
different ones that we could do. So we'll have a think
So
about.
look out for Be Kinder times Wild and Wild event.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Oh, beautiful.
And then, I did want to touch, I just saw yesterday I saw that Rangan Chatterjee, you know, that local doctor, he'd shared about, I found this crazy, this research. This research suggests that practicing kindness may have more of a positive effect on happiness and health than diet and exercise. Isn't that mental? Like,
It's
crazy.
mental, but it actually does make so much sense because after every single act of kindness, the adrenaline rush, but also the happy hormones of dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, that is
Flowing.
literally going crazy through my body. I can imagine the domino effect that has on my actual physical and mental health.
And your nervous
100.
system and everything.
I can vouch. That makes sense.
Well, should we bring it to the little fire round? We do a little fire round at the end of each podcast.
Of course.
So I wanted to ask you, what's your favourite self-care ritual?
Oh my gosh. Favourite self-care ritual. Okay, I would maybe say, I don't want to say the classic of going on a walk in nature,
that's
but I
nice.
would say that is the most, that has the biggest impact on me. And especially in the morning, to set up my day.
Love it. Ice baths or hot saunas?
Ice bath all the way.
Okay.
I really struggle with brain fog, and going underwater in an ice bath, or even I did it in the cold lake. You know the farm club?
Yes,
I did it down there. Oh my gosh, it clears my brain fog. So ice
Amazing.
baths all the way.
Amazing. And people don't realise they can just do it just turn the shower cold in the morning
Literally.
for 15 seconds.
Every day,
And you get that.
I end every hot shower with a freezing cold shower. And I forget to put it back on hot, so my husband jumps in and he goes, why is the water so cold?
I love that.
That's hilarious.
So, any book that shaped your perspective on life?
I would say Mel Robbins' Let Them.
I love that.
I just think the messaging, it had such a profound impact on my perspective on life, to let everyone else do what they need to do and I will be a happy person instead of caring too much.
It's powerful, isn't it, that? Just let them be. Let them be.
Exactly.
Coffees or matchas?
Neither.
I'd
I'd say a coconut hot chocolate.
Oh, I like that. So finally, what would you like to be remembered for? Your legacy?
Oh gosh.
Is there anything that you would come to? I mean, I'm guessing it's around this.
I would love to be remembered for being a hungry girl wanting to go and have a positive impact in the world in my kind of corner, because I'm so aware I can't tackle the entire world, but I would love to be remembered of making an impact to inspire kindness in my kind of corner of the world. So
you know what, you never know. Now the world's changing.
Yeah, you never know.
It's crazy. Like, I'm getting contacted, like, even just from our small little tiny community, I'm getting reached out to like people in America and like and you'll just
I've had Australia.
Yeah. And then you don't know, all of a sudden you could have like, we've got
So
our
true.
ambassadors that are growing now.
Oh, you're going global, Ella.
I think you're
feel
going
it.
global.
You're spreading kindness. You literally made it to the other side of the globe.
Yeah.
So kindness.
And I feel like
is going there.
you don't realise, like, if I look back in my 20s, I'd be like, I didn't think I could create such a powerful community, but you can go even bigger than you think. Like, we always don't think how big we can go.
Yeah,
I really think you're going to go big with this.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I don't even think I got this in, but I'm 22.
Yeah.
I finished university a year ago, and I actually took a massive risk of not following all of the normal to
traditional
do
stuff.
the job applications, get into the whole recruitment
Good for
process.
you.
And I took a risk and to go down this road where I really want to do work that has a mission and a purpose that I'm so passionate about, and inspiring people to be kinder is that I have found it.
Ella, you are amazing. And you know what, how many people, you know how much like strength that takes to take that jump, because there's so much pressure from society, and I feel like more of us need to go for that. And you are just directly on what the world needs right now. It's like you're on a powerful vision, and I really think you're going to achieve it. Thank you
much, guys.
for coming on our show. And
Do you want to end with how you end every yoga class?
oh yeah, so
Okay,
in my yoga, I always close it with a little kindness. It's like a Sanskrit mantra. So it's,
Oh, I love it.
I feel like I have to close my eyes.
No,
we don't have to.
close your eyes.
Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. So it means, may all beings be happy. May all beings have peace. May our thoughts, words and actions contribute in some way to the happiness of all.
I love that.
Yeah, so I just thought it would fit today.
Amazing.
So spread that kindness, everyone, and we'll see you soon.
I love it. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.